Hi, it's Pastor Paul Anderson from the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship, where we believe God's blessings never stop flowing. It is Worshipful Wednesday. It is during the middle of the week that we pause to say, God, we thank you for all the wonderful things you've done in all of our lives. We have paused in this month of February, African American History Month, to say, God, thank you for all the wonderful contributions that persons of color, African Americans, have made not only here in the United States, but also in the entire world. It was in 1945 that Charles R. Drew, he created what we would call the first blood bank. He created the wonderful ways in which we understood plasma and preserving it for transportation and also helping persons who needed to be recipients of blood. We thank God as we pause for this moment to say thank you for the contributions of Charles R. Drew. You know, the Bible gives us so many contributions that benefits all of us. And today I want you to read with me a passage that comes out of Mark's Gospel, the 3rd chapter, verses 7 through 12. This is a very powerful passage. It's a passage which I have entitled, Get Away. Get away. You know, in the middle of the week is a time in which we could pause, and sometimes we need to have, quote unquote, as we call it, Worshipful Wednesday, a time to get away from all the hustles and bustles of life, away from all of the numbers of COVID-19, away from the vaccinations, away from all those other things, to say, God, let me focus on you and realize that you are primary. And when I hear from you, everything else will fall into place. Our text on today is so very powerful because it begins to remind us what happens when Jesus is around. It tells us, first of all, Jesus and his disciples, they get in a boat to go across to the other side of the lake. They had to get away. You know, this Bible is so wonderful because it tells us that every time when Jesus and his disciples had done great ministry to multitudes, they did something that you and I should practice. They had to just get away. They left the people, got in a boat, went on the other side. And as they got to the other side, they found out the people had followed them all the way around the lake and had met them on the other side. It lets us see everybody wants to be around Jesus because he draws crowds. But even though he understood his disciples needed time to get away so he can pour more into them because they had poured out to so many. You and I should do the very same thing. Secondly, it lets us see that the people followed him because of the miracles he had done. I think they understood that Jesus had the words of eternal life, but they also followed him because it seemed like he had an eternal menu that gave them eternal bread and eternal fish. It's amazing how people will follow for multiple reasons. They followed him because he fed them, because he did miracles, and they thought he was going to be the answer to all of their life's problems. Isn't it amazing how people sometimes follow Jesus for what they can get out of it as opposed to what they can give to it? It lets us see that. Then thirdly, we see that he gets in the boat and the people pushed each other just to get closer to where he was. Even though Jesus is going about doing the work of the master, he's going about doing the work of his Father. His disciples are there with him. Others seemingly want to be there, but sometimes in the process of getting to Jesus, people became a little bit rude. Have you ever met people who say they're following God but seem to be so rude? And you ask yourself, where did these people come from? Well, these were just the people in the crowd. They may not have been the people who were part of the crowd who was following Jesus, but they were people that were just in the number. And so then fourthly, it lets us see that he says, as he approaches and gets to the other side, when he gets out of the boat, they hear this great noise. This great noise is that there's a man who seems to be quote unquote, as we could say it, he was possessed by demons. They began to call out. They said, Jesus, and Jesus silenced them. He silenced the man because he knew the man was about to tell everybody who he was. The demon in the man knew Jesus. The man didn't know Jesus, but the demon in the man knew Jesus. Jesus knew it wasn't his time. Isn't it amazing that the people were following Jesus for food? They were following him for all these reasons that seemed to be fleshly reasons. But this demon was on the other side waiting for him because he knew him through the Spirit, because the demon knew that was Jesus, the Son of God. And Jesus told him to be quiet. He silenced him because it was not Jesus' time to be revealed. My brothers and sisters, sometimes God has to silence things and silent people because it's not time. I hope you will realize what time it is in your life. I think it's the time in all of our lives that we follow Jesus. Even though he gets in the boat, let's follow him to the other side because he promised he'll meet us there. My brothers and sisters, I hope all of us can meet him on the other side, but I hope all of us will be on the Lord's side while we're down here. God bless you. I'll see you on tomorrow.
To sow a seed to the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship, visit our newly redesigned website, thefountainofraleigh.org, and select Sow a Seed from the homepage. Also, giving has been made easier with the new Fountain of Raleigh app, available now in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. Download today, select Giving from the main menu, and then follow the directions to complete your giving through Subsplash.
Thank you so very much for all of your gifts and donations that you've given to the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship. We thank you for what you've done in the past, what you're currently doing, and what you will do in the future. Your gifts and donations helps us to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ, not only locally, but throughout the world. Thank you again for your gifts, and may God continue to richly bless you. It is here at the Fountain that we believe that we are exceedingly and abundantly blessed, and may you receive those blessings that God has in store for you.